I don't have Steppin, baby. Makes you want to holler, Big Rube. Big Rube is hollering. Ain't no half stepping. Marcus J. 802 East Coast, May 29th, 2012. You are listening to Ain't No Half Stepping with Marcus J. We just transitioned from our sports hour to our socially conscious and entertainment hour. Hakeem, we see you, brother. Thanks for listening. Ain't No Half Stepping with Marcus J. Missing child segment. Want to get into it. Today's missing child is Kalia Holden. Kalia Holden, who is an endangered runaway, whose date of birth is January 21st, 1997. She has been missing since December 23rd, 2001. December 23rd, 2001, she's missing from Bridgewater, New Jersey. Kalia Holden is 15 years old. She is a black female who stands 5'6", weighs 130 pounds with brown hair and brown eyes. Kalia may still be in the local area. She may travel to a local area called Newark, New Jersey. Her right eye is green and her left eye is brown. Kalia does have a gap in her front teeth, and when she was last seen, she was wearing pink glasses. She may also go by the alias Leah Kedar, Kedar, Kalia Holden. If you have seen Kalia Holden or any other missing and or exploited child, please contact the National Association of Missing and or Exploited Children. Contact them at their website, missingkids.com, or contact them by phone at 1-800-THE-LOST. 1-800-THE-LOST. Please, please, please keep your eyes open for Kalia Holden and any missing and or exploited child. We're going to leave it there with regards to that. One other thing that we're going to talk about, somewhat sports, but then not really. An article that I saw come up on thegrio.com. Thegrio.com is a website that I frequent often. Is a story that has been kind of making its rounds, and most recently made its rounds because of a recent bankruptcy. My question to my panel is this, and we still have K-Dub on the line. He's going to kind of join in on this segment before he bows out for the night. What is it, and I'm going to go to Dub first on this one, what is it about professional athletes who make millions and millions and millions of dollars that cause them to lose all their damn money and go bankrupt? The first name that I'm going to throw out to you is Jamal Lewis, because he's the reason why the story has been kind of back in the headlines. But another name that comes up is former Boston Celtic Antoine Walker, former New York Football Giant Lawrence Taylor, former National Football Association player Warren Sapp, Muhsin Muhammad. I mean, I could go on. A lot of players who, Terrell Owens, Carlton Banks is over here reminding me of. A lot of players have gone bankrupt, and it's real curious to me as to why. And as I'm kind of going through that, I want to kind of look through and share a couple of more names. You had Mike Tyson. You had Marion Jones. Once again, I mentioned Lawrence Taylor, the football great of the New York Football Giants. You had Raleigh Fingers, who is a basketball legend. You had Latrell Sprewell, formerly of the Golden State Warriors, New York Knicks, Minnesota Timberwolves, who famously said that he got to feed his kids and ended up not signing a multi-million-dollar, multi-year contract that would have helped him feed his kids. He declined that contract, never played another day in the NBA, and has since filed bankruptcy and gotten himself in a whole lot of financial trouble. Kenny Anderson, who had issues with child support. Kenny Anderson, Evander Holyfield. I mean, the list goes on. I could sit here and read off these names that I'm looking here all night, and I won't do that. I think we've made our point. But my question is this. Deuce McAllister is another one. My question is this. I'm going to start with my man K-Dub. What is it about the athlete that would allow them to spend so lavishly that they weren't able to save a little something for a rainy day, Dub? What are your thoughts on that, brother?
Well, I mean, I kind of hard to say this, but I wish I could talk from experience or something like that. This is all my opinion. You could take it or leave it. Cost you nothing to pay me no mind. Listen, athletes are no different from you, me, Donald Trump, and other successful and unsuccessful people. No one talks about how Donald Trump filed for bankruptcy X amount of time.
Right.
It talks about a lot of these businesses that we know, on a day-to-day basis how they file for bankruptcy on a year-to-year basis. A lot of individuals that we know, whether they're successful or they just a dude that live around the corner, file for bankruptcy. Okay, so that's I want to make that clear that just because these individuals are athletes, they're no different from the person that lives next door to you that files for bankruptcy. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're down to absolutely zero. Sometimes you do that to protect your assets, so on and so forth. Now, in regards to an athlete, they're given X amount of dollars for X amount of years. More times than not, a lot of people think, when this person signs a $50 million contract, that, the next day after they sign their contract, they get a check for $50 million. That it doesn't work like that. A lot of athletes, buy homes such as ourselves with 30-year or 15-year mortgage or what have you. And things happen that you were expecting money to come in, but something may have happened that, that altered that. You go into a cycle of maybe owing people. You make bad business decisions. We know a lot of people that probably made bad business decisions on real estate, so on and so forth, who's in a couple of $1 million. Some people, I just try to equate it to the normal people that we know. You get paid X amount of dollars, so on and so forth, and every once in a while you might come up short.
Colin Banks, what you think about this, brother?
I have a problem with them, first of all. You know what? I see what you're saying, K-Dub. Not to say your opinion doesn't matter. Your NBA 2K12 skills don't matter. But as far as the bankruptcy is concerned, anybody can file bankruptcy. You did call out Donald Trump. Yes, you're right on that note. The problem is you got all this money up front, but you didn't have anybody smart enough in your corner to say, get an investor, a legitimate investor, somebody who has a proven track record. No, instead they go and hang out with their boys, spend all their money. Got to have a new car every year. Got to have the best new suit. Got to have that big entourage. I don't feel bad for them. I really don't.
Because here's the thing: there's thieves that are accountants. There's thieves of managers are thieves, accountants are thieves. A lot of people that you have to, when you get these large sums of money, you have to put your trust in individuals, and you're hoping and praying that they're handling your money good. I'm quite sure that there are a number of athletes as well as music people that had people handle their money, and those individuals robbed them.
You're right. But see, let's also equate it to the people who win the lottery and are broke the next day. Those people do the same thing.
I'm gonna jump in right here, real quick, because I want to wrap this part of the segment up. I got a hit on the Facebook page. Hakeem is hitting us up. Difference is Donald made a comeback because he had collateral. These athletes have no collateral once their careers are over and they made the bad investments that don't materialize. They can't afford that lifestyle. They purchased on credit. Their creditors want their money and they get paid first. Donald inherited his money. His credit is good because of legacy. Grizzy, I'm going to have you pick up there. What's your thoughts?
Thank you. I'm going to kind of piggyback on what K-Dub said, because me being an aspiring comic and being out in the entertainment field, people fail to realize that sports is also entertainment. And the guys, you see these athletes, but it's a business side to it. And when you mix athletics and entertainment together, you got a lot of hangers on. These people are no different than what we are or what we do, except for they just make a lot more money. They're regular people, but when you get into that fame and you never had that limelight, even if you were coddled from high school where you didn't have no money, or college where you got a booster to give you a little bit of money, once you hit that big time and you start rolling with big time rollers, high rollers, you can easily get sucked in. And so I would like to say it's all about your character. If you ever notice, you don't hear good character people fall into situations like that, or they had a good publicity team around them to where you never heard about that. I'm sure there's somebody. Let's use a Tom Brady for an example. Tom Brady had a child out of wedlock with an actress, right? Got hit up for child support or whatever, had a little custody battle with that. But you don't hear that in the news as often as you hear a T.O. situation where he go on Dr. Phil, with 5 baby moms. Who knows how many kids Tom Brady has out there? You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to money, it's all about how, if you came into money as a decent person, smart with the wits, then 9 times out of 10 you're gonna come with it with the money. If you dumb as rocks, most of it you're gonna spend it.
Man, it's like this. Y'all can perpetrate all y'all want. People stupid. It's simple. You don't gotta be all nice about it. You stupid. If you are, as college in a college, if you're an athlete, you should be forced. You should be forced to take a class on handling money, because if you're in college, you should do that for them. You should do that for them because one day they could be in front of a lot of money. So, whatever. I don't know a whole lot about money. I'm an ordinary dude. I ain't filed bankruptcy, and I got bills.
Right.
As far as all these people paying on credit, why pay on credit? If you got $1 million in your bank account and your house that you're going to buy is $250,000, it doesn't take much math to say, I'm just going to buy this house and I don't have a house payment.
I'm going to take the final word on this one, Dub. Thank you for your contribution in the National Basketball Association segment. Thank you for your comment here. I'm going to get the last word here. We're going to take a quick break and then we're going to get into the fishbowl. But basically, this is what I want to say. When you grow up in the hood and you grew up with nothing and you get some money, logically it makes sense that you want to spend that money and get everything that you can get. Logically, I understand that. When you have someone like Will Smith, who was known as the Fresh Prince at the time, who came from, by all accounts, a good family, the first thing he did with his Fresh Prince money was take the homies to Miami, and he blew his money. Now, I don't know the history well enough to know if he filed bankruptcy or not, but I do know that the story I just gave you is an accurate story, and I see the fellas nodding their heads. They've heard the story as well. My point is this. A lot of times you have these young people who don't know any better. They think because they got that big check right now that it's going to always be there. That's why it's important to have people in your camp that's going to be in your ear and be like, look here, bro, you can't spend your money. And I use Warren Sapp for an example, who got all of these houses and all of these cars and something like 900 pairs of sneakers. I mean, for one, that's excess and it's nonsense. But when you don't have someone around to remind you that eventually, as a 30-year-old man who plays a sport that will allow you to continue playing till you're 35, maybe, if you're lucky, what are you going to do if you're lucky to live another 30 years at 65, which dying at 65 is very young, but let's say you live another 30 years. Let's say you double it out and die at 70. What the hell are you going to do for the next 35 years? If you don't have somebody around to train you those things, part of me understands the trap you fall into. But the other side of me, the smart side, the intelligent side of me, comes back with, look here, man, you're not that dumb where you amass that fortune. You should realize that you do need to save some of that money for a rainy day. And if you don't, you get what you get. I don't feel sorry for none of these cats, particularly the ones who spending it on houses and cars and nonsense. If you lost your money on a bad business, part of me can kind of understand that because you're trying. Right. But somebody that's losing his money on sneakers and girls and that kind of nonsense, I'm not feeling sorry for you at all. We're going to leave it there. We need to move on to the fishbowl. K-Dub, we love you, man. We appreciate your contribution. We're going to holler at you next week. Ain't no half Steppin with Marcus J. We're going to take a very, very quick break. Y'all going to take you out to Earth, Wind, and Fire about a minute, so don't get comfortable because when we come back, Big Rube is going to hit us with the fishbowl, and you really ain't trying to miss this one tonight because he hit me up with a teaser, and it's a hot one. Marcus J. Ain't no half Steppin. Be back in a minute.